that little old cultivator like things in front there, see that made a little fur and sowed the oats and that, and these two springs back here come on and covered them.
Yeah. Now this right here is what you used to cut the oats with, wasn't it?
That's exactly right. Sizing cradle.
Sizing cradle.
Yeah.
Can you stand up and show me?
I think I can. I'll be careful.
Yeah, you be careful now. Don't you hurt yourself.
It's just like this. You come around.
And throw it out.
Throw it out. I've cut with people that come around just like this. Pile it as pretty as you can pile it with your hand.
And pile it just as pretty as you could with a hand?
Yes, sir. Flip that thing up and just dump it off just as straight as you come around like this and take it out and lay it down there.
How many acres a day could you cut with that thing off from daylight till dark?
4 acres. I've cut many a day. 4 acres of cradle just like that.
That's a long day's work, though, ain't it?
You ain't kidding. It's a long days. The average cradle. I could cut 4 acres a day, and whenever I got up big enough to go to cutting, I cut all over the neighborhood. Wasn't many cradlers in the country.
There wasn't many cradlers.
What it could cut, you know. And the old people, you know, is getting too old to cradle. You want me to just show you again?
Yeah, show me one more time. That's good. I like that right there.
See, every time you make a stroke like that, or after you make your stroke, your cradle goes back. You make a step. Just keep walking.
Now the old-timey people, they got older and older, and they couldn't do that, and the younger boys wasn't being trained as much, was it?
Yeah, it wasn't. And then a lot of people just couldn't cut with the cradle.
Didn't matter whether they was young or old, was it?
No, they just couldn't cut. Scared to cut their leg, you know, and it is dangerous coming around if you're awkward or something. Come right into your shins.
Might even leave some bad scars, wouldn't he?
Gosh, I reckon. Then stump. I could cut around that tree there and never leave a head if it's sewed up around a tree like that there. I could cut around that tree there and never leave a stalk of wheat around it.
Even with that old long blade sticking out there, wasn't it?
Yes, sir. Well, you want me to try it anymore?
No, that'll do it right there. Appreciate it. Don't want to overtax you now. Don't want to get you too tired.
That's all right. I'm not old. You take when I was young, Bobby, and sowing wheat and all, there wasn't no drill. They took a single foot like that, sitting over there, and just spurred the land off and sowed the wheat broadcast.
Just walk along and broadcast.
Yeah, broadcast it, and then they'd go to wood and cut them a tree lap or something, hook a steer to it and brush it in.
Drag over the top and cover the seed up, wouldn't it?
Yeah. That's very true. And you see new ground and things like that, why they sowed this as close where you wouldn't have got in reach of it with a drill or anything.
That's right. It'd go right up against the stump, wouldn't it?
Right around again, that's right.
Never thought about that, but there's a lot of fact in that, ain't it?
Sure. See, you sowed right over that stump just the same as you did out there in the middle of the field. You understand what?
Yeah, you just sowed everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, this is the next one after that double stock. I guess you'd call this a three-footed plow, wouldn't you?
Cultivator.
Cultivator.
Cultivator. That's what the name of them things when they come out was cultivator.
And the first ones had 3 feet on.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to get another one over here. Now I can remember these 3-footed and 4-footed plows pretty good.
Yeah.
Because I helped run this one here when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Handles ain't too good a shape right now, but anyway, that's a 4-footed. They just took a piece of angle iron, didn't they, and put another foot out here on top of the plate right there and made a 4-footer out of it.
A lot of people that got them would take that foot off and just use 3.
They'd rather have 3 foot than to have 4.
Yeah. A lot of people, I took it off a cultivator my daddy got and just used 3 feet. Here's a 4-footer.
Yeah. All righty, I'm going to move this and then now what do you call this one?
I call that a Oliver Goober turning plow.
An Oliver Goober?
That's the name of that plow. That's the Oliver Goober plow.
Oliver Goober. That's a strange name, but I guess it's all right, ain't it?
Yeah, you know, that's the first to come out. That 1-horse plows like that is Oliver Goober.
1 horse or 1 oxen, wasn't it?
Yeah, 1-horse plow. And then there's another, next one is number 2 Oliver. The next size, you know, for a 1 horse was they call it a number 2. Oh, hit Oliver plow. Number 2 Oliver. And then the next one that make come out with a 13 Oliver. You see that again.
Yeah, I've seen that. I plowed with them, I guess, them old 2-horse plows.
Yeah, and then from a 13 went to a 20 Oliver.
Just kept getting bigger and bigger, didn't it?
Yeah, 2-horse plows, you know, just kept coming on up.
Well, did you ever plow any with a 3-horse hookup?
Yeah.
That took a pretty big plow then, didn't it?
Well, no, you could plow 3 horses with a 13.
They could just walk on better, couldn't they?
But the thing is about it, when you got 3 horses, and the triple tree they called it out there, that thing didn't just go along there. Heck, it went on up here in the ground. You was going down.
You just buried it.
In that clay, you see that is pulling.
Yeah. Well, it'd be rough if you hit a stump or a root, wouldn't it?
Nah, they just study. You got good study team.
Well, what if you had to hit a root or a rock? Didn't you stop pretty quick and?
Oh yeah, they'd stop as soon as they hit it.
You ever been throwed up on through here and up on there?
No.
You'd always ride, be ready for it, wouldn't you?
You see, a plow like that, if you run into a root or a hitch or something, it ain't going to raise and give no.
It'll just either stop or bust through, won't it?
You just straight out in front of you, see, it ain't going.
Oh yeah. All righty, I'm going to drag up another one here in a minute now. What do you call this tool?
Mowing size.
A mowing size.
Mowing size.
What did you use it for? To just cut brush or weeds or mow?
No, mow your meadows and make your hay.
Oh yeah, okay.
Mow your meadows and make your hay. See, there wasn't no mowing machine back then.
Oh, this was the mowing machine.
Yeah, I thought you had to mow with your meadows, you know.
Do you feel like standing up and showing me how this thing done here? And now wait just a minute and I'll get over there and get a little better picture. All right.
Just going like that.
Just the mowing your hay.
Yeah, like going to meadow. Wasn't no grass sowed and nothing like that, and nothing to mow. It just wild meadow grass, you know. The people back in I was a boy was crazy about cleaning up these little bottoms, you know. They grew up in grass for hay. Well, it was good and tan. And like the Fate meadow down there where Fate Johnson lived, joining the place I used to.
Yeah. I bet it made good grass, didn't it, or good hay for the cows?
Yeah, well, some wheat, some dry. But that's all they had. They'd eat it. It wasn't no hay like we got now, and nothing like that, Bobby.
No, it's improved hay and everything. There's a big difference, isn't it?
Yes, sir. But like the old people used to say, it's better than a snowball to throw out to an old cow.
Well, there's a lot of sense in that, all right. Guarantee it.
Yeah.
All right, what's this thing?
That's a cross-cut saw.
Two-man job.
Two-man job.
Now, I believe you told me this is not quite as big a saw as what you first started out with back years ago. Yours had a bigger belly part on it, didn't it?
Yeah, well, it's about 8 or 10 inches here in the middle wide.
Uh-huh.
So,
and the ends was different out here than what you had.
Yeah, they had, the ends of them, they make a clamp come over like that, like you was fixing for a wagon standing on a wagon bed or something. And you put your handle down in this clamp here. This clamp is over here, and like that. And then they'd put welded here, rivet is on. And then they place a screw in the handle on, you see, they just stuck them down in them, like putting in a wagon.
Yeah. And that's what you cut timber with after you got rid of the chopping axe.
Yeah, they went to cutting them. You see, most of the saws was used cutting board timber.
Cutting board timber?
Yeah. Actually, most of the saws was used to cut a big oak, and saw it up and make boards, Back then, there wasn't nothing known of what you got out of the woods is in your house. Boards, shingles, whatever it was.
You made your own boards with these saws here?
What you see, you cut down a tree, and you on the 18-inch board, you cut you off an 18-inch block.
Oh, yeah.
And split that block, and then took a pro and rived your board down.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And that was the same mill cutting the shingles.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Just whatever length you want your shingles, you cut off that oak. I'll help cut a neighbor block off to make boards.
Okay, yeah. I was thinking of long boards, but you're talking about boards 18 inches long.
Where you cover your house with.
Yeah, covering boards, shingles, board shingles.
Well, you use what's called shingles is all made out of pine.
Okay, out of pine.
Yeah. They call them pine shingles. Where you cut out of oak, we call them boards.
Okay.
Oak boards.
There's the difference right there, isn't it?
Right there's the difference. Pine was shingles. They made shingles. Well, the shingle wasn't made like a board. They split out. You see what they'd do? They'd make a board and be the same through one end. Well, to split out a shingle, well, you had to take an axe or something, and cut it down. Thick at one end and
thin at the other. So as it would lay down.
They called it shaving shingles. You done it with your axe or something.
Well, let me go get another little old tool here and see if this would be something similar to what you're talking about. Would this hatchet here be used in making boards and shingles?
Something like
or
that.
Shingles, I'll say that way, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
To hew them down to where one end is thin and the other end is thick.
You see shingles how they're sawed in.
Yeah. My grandpa used to make them.
Well, you see, the thing was is that when you split them out, they took a axe like that and called it shaving shingle. Shave that down, and just like you want it, big at one end, thin.
Alrighty.
Only they had a homemade axe.
They had a homemade axe?
Yeah, just like that.
Blacksmith make it for them?
Yeah, you see, back then, all axes, now the kid was homemade axes.
About everything you got metal was homemade, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
you couldn't go buy axes and 80 or 90 years ago.
Well, what kind of saw would you call this?
I'd call that the one-man saw.
It was about the same work as cutting as a cross cut, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And what would we call this? I guess is a mattock, isn't it?
That's a mattock, right.
That's used to clear new ground, chop,
grub
roots out with, everything.
Right with, grub with, dig with, just anything you want to use it for. That handle's been sawed off far.
Yeah.
You know why it's been done that way far?
Why?
Dig a well.
To dig a well.
Digging a well with it, that short handle.
Where you get in there close and dig with, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you had more room. I've dug a many well my life.
Is that right?
Gosh, there ain't many wells in this country where old Professor Denny is. You know that?
No, I didn't know that. I didn't know you used to dig a well.
Oh, you know Denny Gregory's a well man, didn't you?
I'd heard about it, but I didn't know for sure, but I'd heard about it.
Me and him blasted together for I don't know how many years. He could strike a rock and then I'd go strike the drill for him to drill the hole to blast the rock out, you know. We worked a lot together, me and Johnny Gregory.
Now,
and I dug a lot of wells.
On those hand drills, you'd have to hit them with a hammer and turn them, wouldn't
you? Yeah. Now that one man turn and the other man here with a 10-pound sledgehammer beating them.
How deep did you dig most of these wells around here?
Well, the deepest one I was ever in, I think, is about 80 feet. But it wasn't around here. It's up kind of hill.
80 feet deep, straight down. How did you keep yourself going straight down and not, you know, get your bank sloped a little bit?
Well, it's hard to do, but if you
pay attention.
It's like I told you the other day, you got to have something up here in your head. You can't just get down and go digging baguettes. You got to look up once in a while and look around once in a while and see where you're at.
About how wide a diameter would you dig them? 6 foot?
5 foot.
5 foot.
Yeah.
Well, now you had a windlass contraption on top up there. Somebody cranking it.
2 men up there to carry the dirt out.
2 men pulling the dirt out in a bucket.
Yeah.
How big a bucket did you have?
We had a box that hold about a bushel. Box, you know, it had a box about a foot deep and about that big a square.
Wasn't you ever afraid that rope would break and that box come down key?
No, I never did.
You always checked your rope so good, didn't you?
Rope, good rope, you know, was good.
Well, I wondered about that grubbing hoe, and that's why that's for.
Yeah, you wouldn't be caught out here in the field grubbing at that thing.
No, the handle's way too short.
You know how long about
the handle would be about that long, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Put you down on that well. Got it.
All right, what is this right here now?
That's a foot edge.
A foot edge.
Well, they dug back then, you know, for the hog troughs and troughs that fed their things out of, they dug a trough for that.
Wait, you'd get up on a log like this, or a log, and dig at it like that?
Yeah. You take and level off, you might say, the top side. One side of it. Turn it up there and then go dig in your trough.
Well, let me get this other chopping axe down here. I called it a chopping axe, but it's not. It's a broad axe, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a broad axe. That's what you hewed your logs with.
I knew it was flat on one side and beveled on the other side.
Yeah.
That way you can come down flat against something, isn't it?
That's right. But I've hewed many below, back the farm, around the building. You cut down your tree and just you lay put your 2 lines on it, whatever thickness you want to go, you understand?
Yeah.
And make your marks on your tree and you score every, and then you say big log, maybe it's a tree it's a foot through, and you want 8-inch log. Well, you make your mark right on top of that, mark it off, and then you get up on that log and about that far apart, you cut in, get it to your mark, and then take a chopping axe, not that one, a chopping axe, and split them blocks off of it. Now you get them blocks split off, you take that axe out of them and just smooth it up. Come on,
press it up and smooth it real good.
Yeah.
Like you say, you got to have it up here, hadn't you? I mean, it takes a long time of living too, don't it, Fred?
I see it. But that's the way you do that. Use them. You don't use them to chop with nothing. No, it just. Well, not say if you like an inch of being up there, you know. You go along and just cut in there like this. In other words, I guess I could explain it to you better. If you are going to trim something down a certain, you hack here like this and go up it, and then start up on and peel that off.
Right. Yeah.
Well, now that's the way you do that on your log. You know, you cut in just about to your mark. Maybe every inch or two.
Yeah.
And when you come out, when you went to smooth, you see it wasn't too much trouble. You get there, you could take it off up there without hurting your log and have it square.
Yeah. All right. That explains that real good then for me. I can understand that.
I think you ought to.
Now,
that's the auger.
Homemade auger.
Absolutely.
And what was this used for, man?
That is used mostly for, back then they made slides. They used it for slides, and then they used it for the buildings, pinning down the plates on log buildings. That and some of them.
You drill a hole in that plate.
Yeah,
and drive a peg through it.
Yeah, with a lot of peg. Most of them go bigger than that. That's an inch and a half, ain't it?
Yeah, that's about 1.5 inches.
Most of them are 2-inch augers where they put the pin in plates, you know, pin the plate. 2-inch augers.
Well, that explains what that tool is for then. I've had it a long time and I've wondered about it.
That's what that is. Of course, they had different sizes, you know, to do different things they wanted to bore with, you know.
Yeah.
I got one, I think, hanging down in the well house. I did have an inch, just the inch.
This is a heavy piece of wood.
Yeah. That's hard.
Feller give me that piece of wood press. It come out of an old church down close to Lone Hickory, built back in the early 1800s. And it looks like it's been hewed out and then chiseled out and pegged, don't it?
That's what's been done. Got these mortised out them holes there. What they call mortised out.
Those holes that were that's bored in that log right there, or that piece of timber, these little round holes right here, they were bored out with that auger type of thing that I showed you just a minute ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And there's a peg still in one that's been broke off, I see. Now those square holes out there was probably where they put the joist in, don't you guess?
What part of that is?
Is in the roof part of the church.
Roof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
put the overhead beams across from the side of the church to the other side, and then they mortised them in and then pegged them to keep them coming out, didn't they?
That's right.
They didn't have nails back then like we'd have now, or big spikes, did they?
All nails you see back then was homemade nails. Something like that, and hewed that out. That squared it out then. And to make it like it is, smooth like it is, they took a plane and dressed it.
Well, there's a lot of old axe marks on that, so that undoubtedly had been hewed out, hadn't it?
Well, that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hewed out, and then they took a plane and smoothed it.
And flattened it down, an old block plane.
Yeah, you know where you see them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that has been hewed out.
This is something you showed me a while ago down at your house.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you tell me now while we got the camera running what it is.
Well, that's a cowbell where they had on the cows when there wasn't no stock low.
So they could find the cow when she's out there in the woods somewhere.
Yeah,
way
off.
off.
Hunt your cow, you could hear the bell ring and know where to go to get her, see? Every time she moved her head of picking, she rung that bell. Had a strap run right through there and then around her neck and hung right under her chin. That's what that is.
And that's a homemade bell too, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a homemade bell.
That thing got to be at least over 100 years old, hadn't it?
Gosh, yes, that's over 100 years old.
Well, when you helped drive cattle to Winston, did you have any bells on any of them?
No.
No bells? Because you had a hold of them about all the time, or they was right there at you.
Had one, the rest is loose.
You had a rope or a chain on one, and the rest of them followed.
Yeah. Started to all follow. We didn't never have no bells or nothing like that.
Well, now, did you tell me, I believe that you had some sheep when you was a young fella.
Yeah. Yeah, they had sheep here in the neighborhood.
That's what I mean, they had them around here in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Well, you kept them, what, for the wool?
Yeah. Yeah, they kept them for the wool.
People didn't grow them much for the meat, did they?
Oh,
did
they eat a whole lot. You take Tom White down there, he raised sheep.
Uh-huh.
Well, you know, Earl Allred come back from in this country out there where Dewey lived. He started out on sheep there when he built all them bases and had about 100 sheep out there at one time.
He was growing it for the wool, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, that's what he's growing for the wool. And Turner Jones over yonder, he raised sheep.
Uh-huh. Well, I remember my grandpa telling about when they would shear the sheep in the spring of the year, or sometime there about, what, May?
Yeah, right along.
And there'd come a cold rain, and they called it the sheep killing rain.
Absolutely right. I've heard old people talk about it many times.
And that was on account of that cold rain, and them sheep just had lost all that wool. They'd take pneumonia, wouldn't it?
It's just like you putting off all your clothes and taking off and then coming a bad day on you. That's the way I always thought it'd be. You see, that wool, them sheep is warm, but you get that wool off, you know, and they're naked.
Yeah. Yeah, they just same as naked.
Yeah. So they just peeled them when they sheared them, you know. They didn't have nothing on. And maybe before they sheared them, the wool would be that long.
I remember you tell me a little bit today about you used to help my grandpa a whole lot. Lived here with my grandpa and haul lumber and everything. Would you like to tell me that again? I'd like to hear it again if you tell me. About hauling lumber, you and him, I believe he got the first truck in this country, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, me and him haul lumber here all winter and ice on the ground. We'd go down there to load, come back and go to Elk. And we'd haul 2 loads of a night and 2 loads in the daytime. Here we got a car, we get the car load. and it's icy all winter. It was cars. You may not believe it, but it's the truth. Out there on the river, riding
with
on the ice.
Yeah.
You may remember hearing them talk about the ice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's the
river freezing over enough that the cars would get out on it and drive around.
Yeah.
Now, you believe you was telling me about that you would load while my grandpa slept.
Yeah. And while we was going on to town, I'd take a nap. Overnight, I'd sleep riding.
You'd sleep riding, and then he slept while you loaded.
Yeah. I've thought about it hundreds of times since then. Why in the world we didn't both freeze to death? We was riding truck, and not just like a tractor. There wasn't no cab. We had no cab on it. There wasn't no windshield and no nothing. We was just on the open.
That wind got pretty breezy, didn't it? It's a wonder you didn't freeze to death.
I thought about that now, but I didn't think nothing about it then. I thought about it.
That was back when, about 1915, 1916?
Somewhere, summer. That icy winter where it snowed from early in the fall for a long, sometime March, April. Snowed all winter.
Well, when did you really go to work at the sawmills? About how old was you when you first started working at the sawmill?
I'm 14 years old.
14 years old?
Farm. Went to farm.
Firing a big boiler or something?
Yeah, tractor.
Big, steam tractor?
Yeah. Right down the branch below where I'm living now, right back over, kind of long. Along the parks down there in Village Grove, George. They're in together.
They owned the outfit?
Yeah. Old kind of mill, old mill where the dogs was at and all. They had a big, come up on the mill, come up a big rod about 2 or 3 inches that the dog went over. And then it was a log, what they call a log beam carriage, you know. A log, like a log, is about that wide and about 6 inches thick. Where it was on.
When do you start working for my grandpa? Do you remember that?
I went to work for him in 1916.
1916. That's hauling that lumber and working at the sawmill.
I went and worked for him off and on. Worked for him here for a good long while, and I reckon I went crazy or something or other. I took it on to go to town. One of my buddies remember talking to me. Well, I took off to High Point and got me a job. I was working here for Bob part of the time when I wasn't. When I was sawmill part of the time, you know, when I went off to town, in other words, I was a farm sawmill, 10 cents an hour. $1 a day, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I went off down there and got me a job at the Southern Furniture in High Point when I left it. And they started me in on 25 cents an hour. That's $2.50 a day.
Big money, wasn't it?
Big money. And I got me a boarding place, $3 a week. Well, I stayed down there about a month. The fellow down there, you might say my buddy.
Yeah.
He took a note and he go to West and left me down there. Well, I was, just sort of in a way like I am now. I worked on a while, and the longer I worked, the homesicker I got to get back out in the country. I just wasn't nowhere to go with Sunday.
Yeah.
Nobody knowed, you know. I didn't do a thing in the world, Bobby, but just caught the bus, come back home, come back and went to farm for Bob, 10 cents an hour now. You know how bad I love town or how bad I hate.
I can imagine. I can understand, really and truly.
If I'd liked town, I'm going to tell you something. If I'd liked town like some people do, I guess old Press had been in town now.
Yeah.
I'd have worked on. See, there I was making more money and clear money and and getting my board and everything
Oh, it's double, triple your money what you's doing here. And probably not near as hard to work either, was it?
Wasn't nothing to it at all. Heaviest ever been in my life. I weighed 180 pounds. I gained I weighed 180 pounds when I left High Point.
You getting fat, wasn't you?
And my weight, that's the only time from then on, the year around, my weight was 165.
Yeah. Sure missed that country, though. I mean,
it got up there. But I tell you, I'd rather be satisfied than to be rich, I always tell you.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of sense in that. A lot of sense in that.
I'd rather get up here and work. I was up here with the crowd I'd always been with, and with Alvin and all, and everything like that. I just didn't. As far as the work, was all right. I enjoyed it. But now when you're out of work, you're just out of a home, looks like. Down there, to me, the way I see you come Saturday here, Saturday evening, or Saturday, if we didn't sawmill, most of us, the boys was working when I was working. We was together then Saturday, Sunday, and on till we came back sawmill.
Yeah.
I tell you, it makes me good to me. I miss them boys down there.
Old buddies you run around with.
Yeah.
Go out a hunting.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Old George down there was telling me about that. You used to tell him about you had a place down there close that you liked to go hunting, and you had a rabbit down there trained.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. I never did hear about that.
Yeah.
Tell me that tale.
George raised it on me, said I had one, you know. I'd go out a hunting and running, you know, and when he'd jump up, I'd shoot at him, and he'd jump up, you know. I'd shoot under him every time.
Yeah.
Come on around, shoot at him, and he'd jump up. And so a fella come along and said, shot my rabbit. he shot him, you know.
He shot him.
And, I'd shoot at him, but that old rabbit jump up just before I'd shoot, you know.
Yeah.
Crazy come on, shot my rabbit. He didn't jump up for him, and he shot it.
Yeah. You had a lot of fun with that rabbit.
Yeah. It's a lot.
I believe George said some city fellers come out one time, was looking for a place to hunt, and you sent them away off down there where there weren't no rabbits or nothing, wasn't it?
Yeah. 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 Damn. I didn't want, I know where they're playing rabbits, but I didn't want the city fellas to get in my rabbits. I sent them like that. I know where you taking, I'll say in 20 miles of home, I know where there's rabbits, where there wasn't none.
Yeah. You hunted a lot in the...
Sure. I walked and carried my dog from here to about 3 miles below Lone Hutcher and hunted.
Walk, you and your dogs, and walk off down there.
Yes, sir. Go down.
That's about, what, 15 miles down there, isn't it?
As you might see, hunt all the way down there. My dog following me and some of my buddies go with me or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, right down there.
Now, you was hunting for the table, wasn't you? I mean, to put on the table.
We wasn't hunting just to kill the game, you might say, and get shut out, throw it away or nothing. And the fun there was in it.
Yeah.
You know. I get down there, you know, and I was acquainted with a lot of people. You know where Footsville is?
Yeah, I know where Footsville is.
Well, it's just about a mile, I'd say, southeast of Footsville. The man's house I'd go to, Tom Comer.
Yeah. Well, I know where Footsville is.
I'd like to go down and stay a week with him, and me and him, and then his neighbors and everything. We just all joined in together. You know, I had the dogs, and they didn't have none, and we'd have us time out for a week.
Yeah.
We'd have us a time hunt.
I'd hate that fella that killed your pet rabbit down there, though.
Yeah. Yep. Go down there, rabbit hunt and possum hunt. I had a good possum dog, good rabbit dog.
tried town living for a while, Press, and I just didn't care too much for it. It's all right if you like it, I guess, but...
Yeah, if I'd liked it, it'd have been fine, I guess, but I just didn't like it. And just like down there, I think the world of Irvin and his wife and all of my grandchildren, great-grandchildren down there. But it's just, my neighbors and friends ain't down there like they are here.
Yeah.
Makes a difference, I just...
Irvin's your boy now, ain't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, as you say, there ain't much no place to go and sit down and enjoy people if you don't know
nobody down there.
He lives in Winston, don't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, in Winston.
Us talking and everything, do you remember the first time you ever went to town? Do you remember how old you was the first time you ever went to town from up here? I mean, you know, like went to, say, Winston-Salem? Is it when you started driving cattle when you was about 15?
Sometime long about then, yeah.
There weren't much need of going to town back then, was it? Except to take some, say, tan bark or...
No.
You buy about all the stuff you needed out here at a little old, what they call a country store.
Yeah.
Who owned the closest country store to you?
Back when I was growing up?
Yeah, yeah.
Hamptonville, Bill Golf.
Bill Golf in Hamptonville. Was Jennings' store over yonder, was it a running?
Yeah.
That's over in Iredell, ain't it?
Yeah. That's further than Hamptonville.
Yeah, that's a lot further than Hamptonville.
Hamptonville. And the post office back then was our Hamptonville. That's where we went and got our mail.
Uh-huh.
Hamptonville.
You went and got your mail all the way down there?
Yeah.
You didn't have no mailman back then, did you?
No, Lord, no. Oh, God, I was grown for it. John Reese got this route through here.
Well, how'd he deliver it? In a buggy?
John?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Horseback. He'd ride a horseback sometime, be in a buggy sometime, and then he'd be in the yard sometime. But he carried it with a horse and buggy cart.
To start with, yeah.
He'd change about.
Uh-huh.
Went a lot in a cart.
Uh-huh. In a cart?
Yeah.
Well, a cart behind the horse?
Yeah, well, hitch the horse to a cart, you know, sort of like a buggy. Didn't you never see one?
No, I ain't never seen no cart. I kind of throwed me there. I couldn't figure out what you're talking about. A cart. C-A-R-T, a cart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had a seat like a buggy seat, you know, two wheels like a buggy wheel, springs on it. It's a horse.
Little old two-wheel outfit.
Yeah. Hey, you see these little ones, I guess, in some shows where they...
Oh, yeah, where they have races and stuff and shows. Yeah, okay.
Well, that's something just simpler to what he was riding in.
Yeah. I never thought about that.
Yeah. Carried a lot, you know. Roads bad, you know. We didn't have no roads. Most of it just hills, hollers, and gullies. 75 years ago, yeah, we didn't have no roads. You get over it better with a cart. You could have buggy him.
Yeah. Or horseback, if nothing else, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, there weren't nobody back then to work the roads, was it?
Oh, well, I worked at free labor.
So you work so many days out of the year of free labor?
Yeah. So many days out of the year of free labor.
Well, where would you work? Just in your community?
Well, you take South Buck Show down here, and that's where we are. We work from Buck Show to Crossroads. That's one spot, another crowd takes on about so far, you know, and then on the other way to the south. Yeah, I worked a minute a day on the road and did free labor. See, you had to go to working when you was 21.
That's part of your duty, wasn't it?
Yeah.
When I remember when I was a little boy, that's back about 45, 50 years ago, the chain gang boys had come through. Call them a chain gang. People had been on the roads, you know, or they call it, they got sent off to prison. They had to work on the roads, didn't they?
Yeah.
They used prison labor back then to work on roads more than they probably do now. Well, I know they do.
That, I guess what you're talking about would be them chain gang cars that are coming through later on, cleaning the right-of-way.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they do that, you know. They do that yet. They have them coming through, but they ain't been through here in a year or two. I know I ain't seen none, but it ain't been many years since it come through. Yeah, they'd come through a crowd like that, cutting the bushes. Now, where they, here for the last few years, a lot of it, and you know as good as I do, it was where they come along and cut. They got machinery to cut it with now.
Yeah.
Trim back and cut off limbs and like that, you know, machinery.
Yeah.
That's cut down, you know, on a chain gang crowd on a job like that.
Well, we talk now this day and time about chain gang, a lot of these young people don't know what we're talking about, do they? Because back then they wore chains, didn't they?
Yes, sir.
On their legs.
Yeah.
I remember seeing a feller, well, a bunch of the guys, they must have been
them, you know, had chains, had them hobbled.
Had chains all the way nearly up to their knees on sometimes.
Oh, sure. You couldn't make on this, you couldn't step on a certain step.
Yeah.
So you couldn't run, you see.
Be a rough way to go, I tell you.
Yeah,
I'd about soon live in town, hadn't you?
I'd do. Yeah, I don't like town, but I'd rather live in town than to live in set of them chains. I know that.
They're always talking about trees the other day, the forest and the woods. Those trees back then were big compared to what we got now, isn't it?
Gosh, I reckon so.
I doubt if there's just a very few forest pine left in this whole country. Real forest pine, would
I'm going to tell you God's truth. I wouldn't know where to start the area unless that still living down there on the creek, on Vera Wood's place, right about on the corner, right, where the branch goes into the creek in our Thomason line. I wouldn't know where to look for a real forest pine.
Well, I think I know where one is, back over in Ardle County, down there off of the Hunting Creek in there close to Campbell's Mill. But I don't know if I'd really know it, because I don't think I'm old enough to know what a real forest pine is. And we're talking about a tree that's 3 or 4 foot in diameter, aren't we? 3 or 4 foot across.
Yeah, and then we're talking about a yellow bark pine.
And as you say,
how long ago has it been since you know that down there?
I guess about 10 years.
Down there, I don't know it.
It's just one old tree way back up the creek there. Now you got to go a good little ways up the creek to find it.
Up the creek?
Up the creek.
Towards Buster Road?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now you may have something there. But I didn't think you'd find it there.
I seen the top from the road, and I thought, boy, that's got to be a big tree. So I asked the people if I could walk back up there and take a look at it, and they told me yeah. So I walked up there. That's the biggest tree I ever seen in my life in a pine.
Yeah, that's the forest pine, I guess.
Oh, I mean, I couldn't even begin to reach around that thing. 2 or 3 of us couldn't. Now, that's what they used to cut years ago and roll up and burn, wasn't it, to clear land?
Clear land. Pine, big oaks and everything. And another thing that I can't understand. You take back then, and I can remember when they rolled logs, pile them up, and burn them, and set them afire. They'd burn for a month and a half, 2 months, before they got the pile burned up. Well, they never thought nothing about fire getting out. And back in up grown, where they cleared land, they didn't think a thing about it. Having you ground, but all the time it was clearing and everything, they piled all their grass, you know.
Yeah.
And they didn't think a thing about going out there just in the fall of the year, or spring of the year, or summertime, kicking the match to that new ground, burning it off, and burnt the new ground and nothing else, and how in the fire did they do that?
And it not get out?
And back then, you know, all the pasture land we had was sage land.
Uh-huh.
Well, if it didn't have many cattle, or if you had a whole lot there in a big pasture, sage would grow on up ahead of the cattle, you know, and it'd be up there, sage waist high. Well, the next spring, about the 1st of March, they'd stick a match to that sage and burn that pasture off.
So new grass had come, wouldn't it?
New sage would come out, you know, it don't hurt to say. Sage would come out and that young there. Well, you never hear tell no fire, it never get out.
I never thought about that. I wonder why it didn't.
I'm going. And another thing about it, just like I told you, our old place where I was born and raised at was fenced in with rail fence.
Uh-huh. You kept the cows out, didn't you?
I mean, what I was going to tell you, and I was grown about. Well, our pasture grew up sage like that. I went for myself in spring year and took a match to it. Right north of the house, a big pasture, about 15 acres in it. And all out there where that sage is at, just burned off as pretty as you ever see that, and never set that fence afire.
And never set the fence afire?
No.
I'd have thought it burnt fence and everything.
You may think I'm sitting here lying.
No, I believe
you.
No, because you wouldn't want to burn them rails.
My daddy was crippled.
Yeah.
That's why I got beaten up. I had just about take over, you know.
What, he break a leg or something, or?
No, he had rheumatism. He was all rolled over, you know.
He just drawed the rheumatism.
Yeah, he drawed over all his life, but the older he got, the worse he got. But I'd go on and take everything off I could, you know. He'd get out and help and work. But when I got up about 12, 15, 16 years old, I'd go out and do things where he was done if I hadn't been there, you might say. But I'm talking about going out there and burning pasture. Well, I'd grow up and watched him do all this, and I wasn't scared. I didn't think nothing. I thought if he wasn't scared of fire, what use me have been?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you didn't want to burn that fence because them rails is too hard to split, wasn't it?
No, and gosh, you know, you didn't want to burn that fence. And down there at the Fate Meadows, I guess from up at this end to the east end, well, it's about as wide as from here to the road down there, and as long as from here, way on out there. They go down there in the spring of the year and burn that meadow, or it growed up after that meadow is mowed. They go down there in the spring of the year, on the 1st of March, and burn that meadow off. Fields all around there,
just set her on fire and burn her off.
Burn her off. Act them in a few hands, just like corn chucking or something, you know, go down, fire it off, and watch it. Burn off. No fire got out. Now, why couldn't we do that? Why, good Lord, I'd be afraid to throw a cigarette down. And we're close to a dry bunch of grass.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you start burning a little bit now, the fire department will be right here in just a minute or two, won't it? I guess it's the difference in the grass, too, don't you guess, Press? This grass is different than what you had back then. It's not like a sage, is it?
I know, but
fire is fire.